So the Paducah NAACP is unable to put on events like this without the help of fantastic individuals and fantastic partnerships like WKCTC. With that, I want to go ahead and extend a big heartfelt thanks to Dr. Reese and the WKCTC team who has been able to help us with this today. So we are actually streaming this on Paducah 2, Paducah 2's YouTube channel and their Facebook channel, as well as Paducah NAACP's Facebook page, which you can find it at Paducah NAACP. Before we get into candidates, I would like to go ahead and give Dr. Reese, the president of West Kentucky Community and Technical College, a moment to speak to you guys.
That applause sounded very earnest. It must be a political year. Yeah. Who wants my endorsement? It's not going to happen. So let me bring greetings on behalf of West Kentucky Community Technical College. You know, this deep partnership that we have with the NAACP and certainly J.W. Cleary and the rest of the team, commend you for this important awareness that certainly we know, as Reverend Hetty mentioned in the prayer, not all countries have the beauty that we have to be able to have democratic and constructive dialogue and discourse, certainly without being violently disagreeable. We are indeed happy to host, as always, in our host responsibilities. We recognize that there are differing viewpoints, et cetera, those not necessarily reflective or endorsed by the college, but it's important too, by way of the medium, that we invite the citizens to be part of this very important discussion and discourse about our leaders. Let me also commend all of you for, having the courage either to step into the political arena or to continue to lead in that arena as well. And certainly, again, as a college, we value all of our partners, city, county, regional, state, in terms of the elected leadership. So with that, I will yield the podium back to you.
All right. I did not introduce myself earlier. My name is Corbin Snart, and I am the second vice president of the Paducah NAACP. Again, want to welcome every candidate here tonight and every community member that is here tonight. Let's get a few housekeeping rules out of the way. So we are live streaming right now. That means it is live. So take note of that. People can hear you. So just want to be able to make sure that we take note of that as well. I need to say on behalf of the Paducah NAACP, we are very much in support of political engagement and political activity. However, I will say that the Paducah NAACP is a nonpartisan organization, and this should not be taken as any endorsement of any particular candidate. Every candidate tonight will be given the opportunity to speak and present their platform, those that have RSVP'd for here tonight. Every candidate will be given 3 minutes to present their platform and present an answer to 2 questions, which would be, why are you running for office, and why should constituents vote for you? Again, that is 3 minutes. That is 3 hard minutes. The NBA playoffs are tonight. That is 3 hard minutes. So we do want to be respectful of time, though, and being all seriousness. So please, candidates, please try to keep all your remarks within 3 minutes. We have our third vice president, Mr. Jim Gearhart, who is right here in the very front row. Wave your hand, please. He is going to be our timekeeper. When you have 30 seconds remaining, he is going to hold up a sheet of paper that says 30 seconds remaining. Please take note that that is 30 hard seconds. I will have to be the mean person if you go over time and kind of politely move you off to the side. So I just want to issue that out first. So with candidates, we are going to go in order of candidates from the fiscal court, and then we're going to present our way down through other candidates that are running. If you'll excuse me for just a moment, because I don't want to butcher anybody's name. So our first candidate, and we're not going in any particular order, but it will be the fiscal court candidates, those who are running for county commission. So I'm going to start off by asking if candidate Bill Bartleman, who is running for commissioner of the 1st District, will come and give his remarks. Mr. Bill Bartleman.
Thank you very much. It's great to be first, I guess. So I had planned on being last, but I'll be first. So my name is Bill Bartleman. My name is Bill Bartleman. I was been a county commissioner for nearly 8 years. Before that, I was a newspaper reporter for nearly 40 years, and I didn't have really followed the fiscal court, been on the fiscal court and followed it all these years. When this fiscal court was elected, I told people that we were going to be the why fiscal court. We weren't going to take things for granted or just accept the status quo, but we were going to ask why and why not. We asked why our economic development efforts had not been successful as we had liked, so we worked with GPEDC to make major changes that brought about renewed accountability and oversight, and most importantly, optimism that we can finally attract some successful, good-paying jobs. We asked why we haven't had a modern athletic complex. With the leadership of Commissioner Jones, we created a sports commission that over the next few years will develop a long-demanded tournament-quality baseball, softball, and soccer complex. We already have volleyball and basketball courts, and all that's being funded without a penny of our local tax money. It's coming from the transient room tax. We asked why we sometimes feel ignored by the state and federal government, so we increased our presence and image in Frankfort and Washington by not only attending the high-profile events sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, but by being actively involved in organizations like the Kentucky Association of Counties, the Kentucky Commissioners and Magistrates Association, the Judge Executives Association, and the National Association of Counties. We not only attend meetings, but we're involved on committees and do a lot of work involved with those. One of the big problems we were facing was finding a way to not only provide basic services for the county, but to fund expected improvements for the county. Like other members of the fiscal court, I and others spent a lot of time looking over past budgets, spending practices and budgets, and looking at future needs. The bottom line assessment is that to maintain even the status quo, we needed to raise more revenue. It's been well documented that we're facing massive increases in pension costs, high costs to operate 911. We need to pay our employees more, and we've increased the salaries in the sheriff's office by an average of 20%. Have a fair wage. Everybody needs to have a fair wage. We had public meetings to discuss our needs and what we were looking at for the future, and a common theme in those meetings was people wanted us to create jobs and do all we could to create jobs and improve the tax base. This fiscal court has worked well together. We've worked hard together. We made a lot of progress, and this fiscal court needs to stay together. I'm unopposed in the election, but some of my fellow fiscal court members are opposed, but we need to keep them together so we can continue the momentum we made. We've made a lot of progress, and I'm running because I want that progress to continue. I want us to build on the momentum, and we need to keep the team together to do that. Thank you.
Continuing with our county commissioner candidates, we will have candidates for District 2 county commissioners, and they will present in this order. We'll first have candidate Jeff Parker and followed by candidate Richard Abraham.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm a lifelong resident of McCracken County. I have a vested interest. I have businesses here. Married my lovely wife for 36 years, got 4 grown sons, 11 grandchildren. 2 of them running around here with me tonight. So I have a very vested interest. I am a conservative. I'm pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and pro-small government. I don't like to see our money wasted. I like to keep things as tight as we can. And I, along with Commissioner Bartleman, I think that we've got a fiscal court that stays in line with that. I strongly believe in God, family, country, or county in this essence. I've been a commissioner for the past 3 years. When I come into office, I really thought we'd be going a lot stronger than what we are, but we weathered starting out broke. We had less than a month in money when we started in our funds, general fund. We were less than 30 days away from massive layoffs with our sheriff's department and our jail. We've turned that around. We've made some changes. We've condensed some things. We've sold some properties. And we're on the rebound. We've got approximately $8 million in our reserves at this point, and it's growing. so we can once again pay our bills. For the last 3 years, like I said, we restored finances. We've shored up the sheriff's department. I see a lot of you guys here tonight. We've hired more deputies. We've got them raises they asked for. We've stopped the bleeding and the cut and run that we had in that department. Us training them and them leaving. We've shored up our jail and our jail deputies. We're trying to keep more of them, and I think it's working. We've raised the pay scale over there. Some of the economic development projects that we've got going at this present time, we've got a new terminal at the airport, $45 million investment. The county's part of that. We've got a Carson Park makeover going on. We've got our sports complex, as Bill mentioned. That's another $45 million investment that will not impact county taxpayers at all, we hope. We've got a lot of jobs that we've had in the last 3 years. One thing we're proud of in McCracken County, I said smaller government, McCracken County is in the lower 25% of the tax base in the state of Kentucky. So if you live in McCracken County, you pay you're in the lower rung of the 25% of property taxes. Very proud of that. I guess we're done. 30 seconds. I don't want Snart pushing me off, so I'll be happy to talk to any of you after this about my platform. So thank you very much, and I do ask for your vote come May the 17th.
All right, next we'll hear from candidate Richard Abraham.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys for the invitation to come and have this conversation. Moved to Kentucky, Paducah, specifically in 1972. Jumped right in and got involved from big part of that time was spent mentoring young people. I worked with two family court judges in creating the Green Room Project. It was a program where kids, we put on programs where the kids couldn't say no. They had to participate. Found out that they liked theater, which was a plus to them. I got elected in 2000 for the very first time, and I ran because I was pretty ticked off. I saw some things going on, and it wasn't a race thing, but I didn't see me there, meaning there were questions that weren't asked, and I would ask those questions. So I ran, and I won, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm in here. What is going on? So I had to learn the rules. The first thing I wanted to know, what was the playbook? What were the rules to this seat? What can I do as a commissioner by myself, and what do I need the consensus of? I had a really good city clerk. She schooled me on how that worked. And from that point on, I made it a point to be sure that I represented the taxpayers. See, when we talk about giving money to GPED, and we're talking about all the things that we got going on in the city, well, those things are funded by tax dollars, and I really had a different appreciation for those dollars. So as we move forward as a candidate for McCracken County Court, I am fully prepared to continue the course that we set a long time ago back in 2000. I'm not afraid of the challenges, and we have a lot of challenges right now in Paducah McCracken County, and it's going to take that type of resolve. Now, heard a lot of talk about team. I understand what teams are, and as a taxpayer, I'm part of that team. So if you vote for me and I get elected, you can be sure that I will represent you to the best of my ability. I will look you in the eye and talk to you, not at you. And I got 30 seconds, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I want the same thing when I vote for a candidate as you want. Someone to look me in the eye, tell me the truth, and not give me a political spin. So I would appreciate your vote on the 17th of May. Thank you.
Okay, continuing down the list. So we have candidates for County Commissioner for District 3, and they're going to present in this order. We're first going to have candidate Eddie Jones, followed by Yolanda Johnson.
Good evening. So I remember running for city commission 6 years ago. I didn't win, by the way. But Brother Ronaldo Henderson, we were both getting ready to give up, and he did his speech, and I gave my speech, and I sat back down next to him, and he said, "You didn't tell him what your name was. You didn't tell him what you're running for." So I've remembered that. My name is Eddie Jones, and I'm running for county commissioner. I grew up in Western Kentucky. I'm married to a great-looking girl from Reedland, Kentucky. Between the two of us, we have 2 kids. One's at Murray, writing a paper now, and the other one is at Cub Scouts with his mother. I have a degree in public administration. I have a law degree from the University of Kentucky, and the United States Army captured me after law school because I went through on a ROTC scholarship, and they made me go to airborne school, air assault school. I don't know if that's important, but I like saying it. And then I had to spend some time with 2nd Infantry Division and 101st at Fort Campbell. Now, I've also been a commissioner for 4 years, and I've got some good things to report. I'm going to, if I can turn this page, I'm going to try and not cover what Bill and Jeff did. First, we ended 7 years of deficit spending and averted a financial disaster. It's just a fact. We did that. We changed the business model of GPAD. I'm not going to get into details of it, but it now works for you. It has a marketing wing, and there's a publicly controlled IDA that holds the real estate. 333 jobs that GPAD can take claim to in the last 3 years that we have been at the helm. 17 jobs hadn't been talked about. That makes a total of 350. 17 jobs came from a new thing called Sprocket, city-county venture that we're doing. 17 jobs created from software companies. 3 new software companies have moved to Paducah. They're experimenting. They're trying to decide if they're going to stay. 2 are minority-owned. 1 is owned by a woman, which technically, I guess, could be a minority as well. Sports tourism. We've entered that market. We're going to do it well. You have had some weekends, you may not have known it, but off weekends where you couldn't have gotten a hotel in this city because we have sports courts now in the Expo Center, a building that we really didn't know what to do with 3 years ago. We have an airport grant. PACRO, I get to serve as chairman of PACRO. Airport grant, lots of people have worked on the airport grant, but that's going to be a good thing. And now I want to say one other thing about the jail, because I got 30 seconds left. And all the candidates for judge are here, and I'm having this long conversation with them every time we're together, because they won't listen to me after they win, or they can, right now they can interrupt me. I said last night, one of the things that kicks our butt is the jail. It's not David Knight's fault. It's just because we have to think smart about how we use that jail. I'll finish this conversation in our next meeting. See you.
All right. Next, we'll hear from candidate Yolanda Johnson.
I want to thank everyone for having me. I really do appreciate the opportunity to speak to everyone. I'm new to this. I'm new to politics altogether. But I do want to say that I want to be your next county commissioner. I have a history of service. I served 6 years in the Air Force. In the last 12 years, I served working for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I was a 911 dispatcher. I was a probation and parole officer. And my last position before I resigned to run for county commissioner was an employment specialist. And now I want to serve the people of McCracken County. I'm not a politician. I'm a taxpayer who are sick of politicians, quite frankly, not listening. So I decided to do something about it. I think it's time for McCracken County to have diversity in county government. Diversity in perspectives, diversity in ideas. I want to see McCracken County progress in housing and workforce development and economic development. One thing about me is if I say it, I'm going to do it. And a vote for me is a vote for a new voice and a new vision for McCracken County. A vote for me means there is an advocate in the room for hardworking, tax-paying people. I am the people's candidate, and I'm here asking for your vote and for your support. And if you want more information, go to voteforyolandajohnson.com for more information about how to get involved with my campaign. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, County Commissioner candidates. Next, we are going to hear from the judge executive candidates from McCracken County, and they will present in this order. I believe that Matt Moore is not here tonight, but he is also running as well. But we're going to hear first from candidate Craig Clymer, followed by Gary Vanderboe.
If I hurry up and start talking while he's playing with that, I get free time.
Right now you got 15 minutes.
Oh, well,
Okay.
well, I'll start. You tell me when to stop.
Go ahead.
All right. So the question was, why am I running? You know, this is my home county. I've invested over 3 decades in serving in this community, and I just don't want to stop now. I've been a police officer for 10 years, both city and county. I was a federal court attorney. I was a state judge here for 23 years, retired from that. I was elected leader of McCracken County for the last 3.5 years. You put me in office. I've built an outstanding team of qualified, trained, educated professionals. I took office when the county was in desperate financial condition. You've heard that from the others. We're now recovering, building our economy stronger, and we're all moving forward in the county. I've got materials out there that can show, or you can get on my website, clymerjudgeexecutive.com, and see that the real property taxes in Kentucky, we're among the very lowest. Real property taxes are in neighbor counties. We're the lowest in 7 of the 10, higher by 1 to 2 pennies per $100 in the others. Tangible property tax, we're the lowest of comparable sized counties. And we have created jobs, 333 jobs so far, close to $200 million in capital expenditures and improvement in the community. It's vitally important that you have a county judge, somebody who's running the county that is very well qualified, because the county judge runs and manages the county outside of the city. What are the attributes necessary? Maybe the most important is on-the-job experience and training. I've been in this office on the job for 3 years, 3.5 roughly. I've learned the ropes, I know the rules, I know the local, state, and federal partners. I know, and we have conferences and talk, and we get things done. Education is a relevant field and as an essential attribute. I have a doctorate degree in law. I'm a professional mediator trained at the National Judicial College. I studied public administration at the master's degree level. Economics at 2 of the nation's top schools, George Mason University and Northwestern University. So I've got a lot of schooling, experience, training. So what have I done? What's my team done? Judge me on what I've done, and I'm fine with that. Brought the county financial status from poor to stable. 2, increase the pay for the sheriff's office, protect the people. 3, economic development. 4, joint city-county 911. 5, Paducah McCracken County water merger. 6, the airport terminal. 7, Carson Park upgrades. 8, county-city collaboration. 9, solar ordinance. And 10, improving race relations in our county. the thing that you have to focus on is you got to have somebody with the tools. My opponent, he's a nice guy. He's a home builder. He's a contractor, a realtor. I can't build a house. He can't run a government. You need somebody to be able to run your local government, and that's me. Oh, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I just see him sneaking up on my side here, though. Thank you. And
Thank you all for having me tonight. My name is Gary Vanderboe. I'm not the home builder, by the way. I'm a nuclear whistleblower. I'm employed at the Paducah Gas Fusion Plant, and I think by now you all, if you don't know who I am, you will. We're highly trained engineers and professionals that worked out there for all of you. We sacrificed heavily, and I bring to the table their audience for us to take care of when we become sick. But in this community, we find that there's a lot of people that are not aware of what goes on in West Paducah. I think Mr. Clymer does. His father and my mother and dad both worked at the Paducah Gas Fusion Plant. And I've actually had a calling to come forward. We've got Buzz Smith in the audience tonight. We've got Sandra Wilson. They've heard me many a time. And it goes back to 2008 when I got a phone call from Judge Van Newberry to come in and introduce the community to the dying and sick nuclear workers. There's a federal law that's in place, and the federal law has not been followed. So we have attorneys in the room. I'm not an attorney. I don't choose to be an attorney and never want to be an attorney, even though people have asked me to become an attorney. I'm a project delivery trained manager. I have 2 President's Awards under Lockheed Martin. I don't want to claim anybody after that for a reason. So what I bring to this table is project delivery training. Craig says it best. It takes experience to run a county, much less a government agency. And when you start working with politics out there, it's hard for somebody to follow the law and work the Paducah Gas Fusion Plant. Unfortunately for everyone else, I had to follow the law or I go to jail. Their mistakes put me in jail, not gonna happen. So what I try to tell all of you, there's a history of Paducah that you're not aware of. We don't wanna make it a gloom and doom, but I can't be the one to be blamed for bringing it to the light. And so we're here about bringing this up. I've got Stan Jones. We got 500 nuclear works and 1,000 coworkers. And I don't have to tell you, we've got them. What we're looking at is situations that are disgraceful that happened, but we've got to move on, and we've got to get more involvement by DOE and more money out of them to clean up what they've left behind. And that's just it. A young man came forward one time and said, simple answer. And by the way, I'm not this gruesome looking Democrat that everybody's probably heard of. But this is a Democrat issue and a Republican issue. We're all together. And with that said, I'd love to have your vote because I bring honesty and integrity, and so will Craig. But at this time, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to bring light to all these issues to help everybody in the community. Thank you.
Okay, while we transition over, our next candidates that we will hear from will be the City Commission. But before we get to those candidates, I want to make sure that, first off, I hope everybody in this room is registered to vote. You should be. If you are not, I am encouraging you to go to www.govoteky.com. It's very easy. You can do it right there. You can also check for your precinct and your registration that goes in there. As we know, the primary is coming up on May 17th, which is what we do want you to vote in. Please keep in mind you must be registered as a Republican or a Democrat to vote in the primary. Regardless, you should be registered to vote because when the fall comes around, we want you to be able to do that too. But moving into City Commissioner candidates, so they are going to present in this order. I'm not going to come back to the mic, so please keep track of the order. So City Commissioner candidates, we will next hear from, in this order, DeJuan Thomas, Sandra Wilson, Renardo Henderson, David Guess, Keisha Curry, Carol Galt, Mike Reed, and then Robert Buzz Smith. So first we'll hear from Mr. DeJuan Thomas.
I must say I was not expecting on going first, but I'm excited for this opportunity. I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak to all of you. These forums are imperative to our community because it gives an opportunity for the citizens to see who is wanting to represent them. And as a citizen myself, I've seen politicians who run for office that may not have the people in their best interest. But today I can only speak on me and what I'm running for. I'm a college graduate from the University of Louisville. I'm a graduate from Paducah Tillman High School. I'm certified in law and justice from Harvard X. I'm a successful business owner. I'm a member of the Paducah Diversity Advocacy Board. I'm a founding member of the Hands of Hope nonprofit, and I also served honorably in the Army National Guard. And, you know, I want to say this. I don't want to be an elected official. And that may sound crazy to some of you, but I think there's a difference between an official and a leader. An official is somebody that just has a title, whereas a leader is somebody that stands next to the citizens, stands next to the constituents, stands next to his neighbors. And I want to be that leader for you, Paducah. I call myself the common sense candidate because I believe some of the issues we face, or most of the issues we face, are common sense issues. And one of my first ones, even when I was running for mayor, was the South Side. And I got to commend Commissioner Henderson because right now he's the only commissioner I've seen doing something about the South Side. But I think, and I have to say this, I think it's time to end these meetings and it's time to take action. And I'm ready to do that action. We have to get rid of these dilapidated buildings. We have to beautify that area. And we have to take care of our citizens on that side of town because they're all a part of us. And also in that, I'm not even sure how many people know the poverty rate in Paducah. But if you do, you know it's about 21%. And I think the city should implement financial literacy programs and partner probably with WKCTC to provide these resources to the South Side because those people, they just lack the resources. They could make that side better if they had the resources because we definitely don't need to gentrify that area. And moving on, the flooding issue. You know, that's a major issue here in Paducah, but I think we can make that problem a solution. The city can partner with engineers to come up with some kind of hydroelectricity solution where we can use that problem, you know, to help generate electricity in the city. We have the water, so why not work on getting that together? And that's what I plan on doing when I'm in office. And also renewable energy infrastructure, that's a big thing for me. And, you know, implementing solar panels into government buildings as a first step will be just the first step in trying to see if that'll help with saving tax dollars. Because those tax dollars could go towards some of the programs I spoke to earlier about the financial literacy or to fixing the issues here in the city. And time's almost up. And new opportunities for our youth and internships. That's a big thing that I want to bring to the city. New events, the World Fest. You know, I want to include inclusive culture. It'll be good economic growth for our city. And also just something fun to get out of the house. Because after COVID, we want to get out and have a good time in a safe way. And so I want to ask for your vote. I'm ready to be a leader for everyone, even those that are running against me. I'm ready to lead this city and be there for you. And I have a meet and greet on April the 23rd at Nutrition Zone, and I invite all the political candidates here to join me because this is another opportunity for the community to meet those that are wanting to represent them. And you can follow me on Facebook, DeJuan Thomas for Paducah City Commission. My website is DeJuanThomas.com, and you can email me at DeJuanThomasForPaducah@gmail.com. Thank you for your time.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for hosting this event for tonight. I'm Sandra Wilson, and it's been my privilege and honor to serve this community for the past several years in a variety of roles, including as a city commissioner. My family and I are very committed, we're invested, and we're very passionate about serving this community. This is where we have all chosen to live. My husband, Ed, and I feel very fortunate that our 3 children are here and our 5 grandchildren. This is an exciting time to live and work in Paducah and McCracken County. Many positive things are happening in our community. We need strong, visionary leadership. You deserve that. Our city deserves that. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And that's why I'm running for City Commission again. We don't have a primary for the City Commission race, so it will be a few more months before you vote for us. But let me set the stage for you for what you're going to begin to see in the next few months between now and the general election. You are going to see a lot of significant growth going on in our city. let's go back a few years ago. We were in Frankfurt, and we met with an economic development official, Jeff Taylor. Many of you in this room know him. And he bragged on our downtown and our plans for it. And he made the statement that your downtown is the heart of your city. And if you aren't taking care of the heart, much like your body, then it's a reflection that you aren't taking care of your community. And I took that to heart myself. And so you are about to see a lot of change and growth in our heart, in our downtown area. And while there are going to be some temporary challenges associated with that, please keep in mind that combined with the build grant that we have and with over $30 million in capital investment coming, that's going to be extreme growth in our downtown area. And that doesn't even include all of the new potential growth from our local private developers who are opening businesses and building a lot of upper story living. So get ready, it's coming, and it's soon, and it couldn't be more exciting. Additionally, if you followed our top 10 priorities your city commission developed earlier this year, you know we're partnering with the county, just as they've said, on a new sports commission, a new terminal at the airport, and to finally make the needed upgrades that we have for our 911 system. Additionally, we are focused on the south side, and we are doing more than meetings. We have done a lot out there to work with our local officials to form a committee and on our Jeton building for our new terminal. Community growth is one of our priorities. In the 2020 census, the city population grew by over 2,000 people. That's important. People depend on it. Our hospitals depend on it. Our businesses depend on that growth. Our city is very diverse, and we have to lead by example, and I can tell you that we will be focused on that as one of our city's priorities. Many of you know me personally, and you know the passion and the commitment that I have for this community, and that's why I'm running for city commission. I have a track record of delivering success, and I hope that you will see that, and I ask for your vote in November. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be with you tonight and to have this opportunity to share with you. I don't know that I've ever done anything in 3 minutes, but I'm going to sure try. So Corbin won't have to come and move me out of the way. My platform is very simple, is continuous growth and development. And I say continuous growth and development simply because, as Commissioner Wilson has already mentioned, we came out of the gate running and working and doing some things for the city of Paducah. And so I just think that it's wise that we continue that and that you have a team that continues that forward movement. And I think it's important when we talk about team, because the reality is that we have been a team and we have worked together, and we have not always agreed on issues, but we have worked together to move forward in a direction that we needed to go. I have always, from day one, I have always, as long as I can remember rather, I've always wanted to serve. I've always wanted to serve. I started preaching when I was 16, and I've always wanted to serve and to do things for people that made a positive difference in their lives. And so I believe that I have been a strong voice. I believe that I have been an advocate for people who perhaps could not speak for themselves. And I have worked. I've voted on every priority that we've had because I'm a candidate that is for all of Paducah, not just for a small part. I'm for all of Paducah. So very quickly, I scribbled some things down. Why should you vote for me? Well, I persevere. I don't stop because I come to a wall. Somebody said if you come to a wall, you go over the wall, you go around the wall, you go under the wall, but you don't stop because you come to the wall. And so even though I was not successful in the last 3 elections, I persevered until I won. I persevered. I'm proven leadership. I have served Paducah. I've been in Paducah. In June, it will be 30 years. And I have served the Washington Street Church for those 30 years. And so I've given some proven leadership in many areas of our city. Many areas of our city. Most recently, of course, the City Commission. I realize I'm a freshman commissioner. There are a lot of things, I'm be honest, a lot of things I don't know. There are a lot of things I don't understand.
but I know how to go and get the answers that I need so that I can understand, so that I can make decisions that are going to be best for everybody. Not only am I a proven leader, but I'm a compassionate leader. I'm compassionate, sometimes to a fault, because I want to listen, I want to hear, I want to see what I can do to try again to make the difference. And I know how to execute that leadership. I'm a visionary. I know how to cast vision, and I know how to get in there and walk with people and help that dream become a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd appreciate your vote. Ronaldo Henderson is my name. Thank you.
Well, my name is, my name's David Guess, and anyone that knows me, I'll talk your ear off, but this is not something I like to do, so I don't think you're going to have to move me off here in 3 minutes. But I want to, born and raised in Paducah, grew up, Jeff was a couple years ahead of me, transferred to Tillman, went to high school at Tillman, went to Murray State. As I tell people, I ventured 45, 50 miles to go to school as far as I ever went, as far as I ever left. Paducah. I love Paducah. I wish both my kids were here. I've got one in Bowling Green. Got a picture of my 9-month-old grandchild in my pocket. But my son is here with his wife. I love Paducah, and I've been a commissioner for 6 years, and this 2 running, and then 20 years ago I served with Buzz, and I was just a 30-year-old running. I think of what Richard was saying when I got in. Lord, I mean, you didn't know what you were doing, and not what you were doing, what was ahead of us. Sorry. But we just learn, and over the last 20 years, I've been self-employed for 30 years plus, and I'm a bean counter. I mean, I'm a numbers guy. I couldn't. I just want to. As I tell the directors, I don't care how good things are, they can be better. I think we've got a lot of employees. I think that's my gift to the commission. I think we have a great commission, and everybody has different roles. I depend on the other ones, and maybe they depend on me for some stuff. I don't know, but I love our commission. Raise a bright shining star, and but I just look forward to running again. We don't have a primary, but looking forward to your vote in November. David Guess. Thank you.
Good evening. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Keisha Curry, and I want to be your next city commissioner. As a 13-year resident, I'm so proud to call Paducah my home. Relocating here as a single parent brought about its challenges, as I was desperate to find some stability and safety to raise 2 growing boys. It is here in Paducah I've been blessed to build these relationships that have caused me to be rooted and grounded in Paducah. Because of you, I've grown to love this city and its residents. As a servant leader and a social worker by profession, I have accepted the call to serve and to advocate. I'm intentional about meeting the needs of others, and I truly believe everyone deserves equitable access to the tools and resources that allow them to be their 100%. I'm running for city commission because I believe as Paducah progresses forward, so should our city government. Our representation should reflect the diversity within our communities, and it is time for a new voice to take a seat at the table. When we speak of change, we have to talk about those most affected by policies and at the table, and to ensure that they are respected and heard. By electing me as your next city commissioner, I will amplify your voices by listening, being receptive, and relating to what you value, addressing issues that are important to you. We need to talk about open and accountable and accessible government for all residents, ensuring that decisions are made through an equitable lens. We need to talk about ensuring equitable decisions on affordable housing. That means including the input of low-income residents, those experiencing housing insecurity and homelessness. We need to talk about an economic development plan that includes budgeting and planning decisions of equitable distribution of city resources. Equitable distribution of city resources by intentionally targeting those neighborhoods that have not been historically invested in. And also upgrading the city's storm drainage system to keep the pace with our growing city and get the water out of my backyard. Again, my name is Keisha Curry, and I want to be your next city commissioner. I ask that you go to my website, curryforpaducah.com. It's curryforpaducah.com. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Carol Galt, and I am a candidate for Paducah City Commission. Much like David Guess, I can talk your ear off, but this isn't one of my favorite things to do, so we're going to go through this fairly quickly. But I moved to Paducah in 1996, and when I moved here, I first became involved in a lot of not-for-profits and became very active in downtown development. I was serving as the Main Street Director, and as we oftentimes do, I was having to work hand in hand with City Hall and wasn't happy about what I was seeing. So I chose to run for office at that time. I was elected the first term in 2008. I have learned a lot since then. One of the major things that I learned when it comes to city government is that you have to count to 3, that none of us are able to do anything by ourselves. That was the first lesson I've got, and I'm still reminded of it daily. But some of the things that I'm very passionate about, and one of the reasons I want to continue to serve on the City Commission, is I'm passionate about our progress. And I just made a quick list of some of the things that we have going on, and I want to be able to have the opportunity to continue these things. 911, we serve on a county city committee, and I think we're making some progress on finding some solutions of a badly needed, it's severely outdated system, and we desperately need to cure that problem. Downtown development, we do have a lot going on, but we still have a lot of things that need to take place in that area. Southside enhancements, I think about that, and I think about the money that's going to be needed to do that. I know just in the time that we did Fountain Avenue, the city committed over 2.1 million resources, and it took a long time to get that done. It's going to be slow and incremental on the south side too, but I want to be able to participate in that and see us make the changes there. We have several priorities, but our top 10 priorities are listed on the city website, and I would encourage you to go there and look at those and give us feedback about what you see and how we want growth. Again, we don't have a primary now, but in November, it'll be time for it. You'll see lots of us, and you'll be contacted by all of us, I'm sure, again. But I appreciate you listening to us tonight. And again, it's Carol Galt, Paducah City Commission. Thank you.
Hello there. My name is Mike Reed. Running for Paducah City Commissioner, of course. And there are many issues I'm insufficiently informed about at this point. I'm a quick learner, though, but I have one exceptional strength, and it relates to my heritage and my God-given assignment. That is, my family and I have endured lying accusations, defamation, and assault since I was a young kid, and God has sustained me through it all. So I'm a man of substantial faith. Over the years and the decades, it's become clearer and clearer that much of the grief aimed at our family has come from folks unjustly exercising power and authority. Mainly church authority and then government authority. So I'm a guy strongly motivated to reform from within. Enduring this misuse of power has driven me to find encouragement in the Lord and solace in His Word. And I've developed abilities to stand alone on principle, finding understanding and wisdom from the Scripture, and discernment from Jesus' Spirit. So I've developed skills at spiritual warfare. And I don't know how many of you folks realize this, but we are deeply engaged in spiritual war at this moment. If you look, when you're in your quiet times, you probably get what you probably feel what I'm describing here. Many would agree, though, that though we have financial trouble, moral trouble, racial trouble, and more, the root of all these is spiritual. I assert that Paducah has a spiritual sickness, and our only hope is to return to the God who created us and covenanted with our founders to form the USA. I believe God has placed me here since childhood and to endure all this stuff, to accomplish the reformation of our local culture and to aid in carrying out His purposes for the benefit of all Paducah's people and beyond. I offer my services to speak for the cause of Christian reformation and common sense American values within Paducah City government. If Paducah's Christians see their responsibility to reclaim leadership of this godly nation, I offer my candidacy as Paducah City Commissioner. I'm Mike Reed. I'm an active elder in the Cumberland Presbyterian Church, and I commit to continue following the Lord Jesus as best I can by God's grace. And here's my little show and tell, votemikereed.com. Thanks. Thanks, Henry.
Okay, it looks like I'm the cleanup man for the city commission. Let me tell you why you shouldn't vote for any of those. Just kidding. No, everyone running for city commission is a fine person, and I truly mean that. My name is Robert Buzz Smith, and I'm the sixth generation Paducah resident, and when I say that, I mean people that have lived in the city of Paducah. My family has. I've seen a lot of change in the years, and I want to salute the NAACP, who has been around for 93 years, and a lot of the change in Paducah is thanks to NAACP and the leaders that I see in this room, and the people that preceded you. So thank you. My background is overwhelmingly business. For 23 years, I worked for U.S. Food Service, and I was the sales manager for chain business. U.S. Food Service was a food service distributor at 1350 North 10th Street. And my tenure there, I managed a sales budget that was substantially larger than the city's revenues. So I like business. That's the way I like to look at things. I worked for the U.S. Department of Energy, and I previously served on the city commission for 12 years, and 4 of those years were as mayor pro tem. Really in my city tenure, I served passionately, and I was very involved in a lot of the things that we did. And I don't mean I sat on the sidelines. I was really involved in it. But some of the things that we did was that we kicked off the neighborhood, the Fountain Avenue neighborhood development. We eliminated the crime-ridden area known as the Set. We appointed the first minority fire chief, and I believe we appointed the first minority personnel director of the city. We did the Lower Town renovation. We revitalized downtown. We constructed the Carson Center. We added curbs and gutters to the Cornell neighborhood. We did started the 2-year paid tuition in WKCTC for students. We removed the dilapidated executive inn. It goes on and on and on. Created the Greenway Trail. But really, I'm running as a supporter of our city's efforts. I am with the other people that I'm elected with. Hopefully I'm elected. I will work with them, and we will get some things done, and I will boost the city's efforts. Additionally, in my past, I've served on the JSA Board of Directors, the Telecommunications Infrastructure Authority Board, Brooks Stadium, Oak Grove Cemetery Board, and I currently serve as a PALS mentor. I left my cards outside on the table. It's got my website address. I really appreciate anyone that would pick those up, check out my website, and I'll stick around afterwards. I'd like to meet folks if they have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to all of our city commissioner candidates. Our next candidates, hopefully everybody has paid off their speeding tickets. So our next candidates that we will hear from will be from the sheriff candidacy and also from the jailer candidacy. And they will present in this order. So we're going to hear first from Mr. Ryan Norman, followed by Wes Orzine, and then jailer candidates David Knight, Dan Sims. All right.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here, and thank you all for having this forum so that voters can be informed. My name is Ryan Norman, and I'm running to be your next sheriff. I'm currently the Chief Deputy in the McCracken County Sheriff's Office, the #2 position in the agency. In 2006, after returning from Iraq, I was hired by the Paducah Police Department. In 2009, after returning from Afghanistan, I switched to the sheriff's office and took a large pay cut because I knew that's where I wanted to be and to hopefully someday be in front of you all. Since then, I've worked my way up through the ranks of the sheriff's office as a patrol deputy, detective in our drug division, and was a captain of our general investigations prior to becoming chief deputy. I'm endorsed by Sheriff Matt Carter, the employees of the Sheriff's Office, Sheriff John Hayden, and all the purchase area sheriffs. I have the only executive leadership experience that's to seamlessly continue the great service I believe the Sheriff's Office provides. I'm the only candidate that currently works at the Sheriff's Office. I'm the only candidate that has supervisory experience at the Sheriff's Office. I'm the only candidate to have served combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, serving in leadership roles in both wars. I'm the only candidate that has received Sheriff's Office Executive Command Staff training, along with all the other 120 sheriffs in Kentucky. I'm the only candidate that has attended McCracken County Fiscal Court meetings and worked with the Judge Executive and the County Commissioners on current Sheriff's Office topics. I'm the only candidate that has written, prepared, and implemented a budget for a law enforcement agency. I'm the only candidate that has developed and written policy for a law enforcement agency. And last, I'm the only candidate that has been endorsed by Commonwealth Attorney Dan Bowes. These endorsements are because they know what it takes to effectively manage a sheriff's office. I've seen what it takes to run our sheriff's office, and I know it's a very complex position. While law enforcement is our most visible function, it's only a small part of what we do. We have many other statutory duties that are required by law. Since becoming chief deputy, I've transformed our training to become more realistic and more frequent than ever before. I've overhauled our field training program, applicant testing, and helped modernize our pay scale. I've also partnered with a local agency to help our deputies learn how to better interact with those in crisis and to help our deputies with their own mental health. I also have several goals if elected as sheriff, some of which I've already began to work on. I'm going to continue our Badges of Hope program, and we're in the process right now of expanding it. We want to continue to be compassionate to those needing help. On the flip side, we're also going to continue our tradition of vigorously going after drug traffickers, those that poison our community and our children. I'm going to dedicate deputies and detectives to receive training and become experts in internet crimes, human trafficking, and other crimes that greatly affect our children. And I'm also already working towards having deputies receive specialized training in animal abuse. Thank you for your time. I would appreciate your vote on May 17th.
Good evening. My name is Wes Orzine. I was born and raised in McCracken County. My wife and I have raised both our children here in McCracken County. As a teenager in the early 90s, there wasn't much to do in McCracken County, so I signed up at the age 18 in the Marine Corps, became a military police officer where I started my law enforcement career. After getting out of the Marine Corps, I started at the Paducah Police Department where I retired as a captain and served in many fields in that agency. There's way too much to go over in 3 minutes time. So I would encourage you to go to my Facebook page. I would encourage you to go to my website and take a look at that and see the accolades that are there. Throughout my career, or throughout my life, the one thing that I knew that I wanted to do was be where I was needed and where I could do the most help. Law enforcement, it took the military to get me into that mind frame of what that would be, and that would be law enforcement. Once I got hired on at the Paducah Police Department, I was able to make a lot of accomplishments as far as being a field training officer, explorer advisor, where I've had some influence with hundreds, if not thousands, of our community's youth. Spent most of the majority of my time within the patrol division, the grunt work is what we call it, and got promoted to sergeant, and then again as captain where I retired. Went from there and worked at the McCracken County Sheriff's Department, and I now work for McCracken County Schools. I want to see the Sheriff's Department move forward from where it's at. It's made some good strides over the years, but I feel that it's a lot slower than some of the surrounding agencies. In some cases, they're 8 to 10 years behind the others. One of those cases is our Paducah Police Department has been accredited for more than a decade. I would like to push the policies and procedures through the McCracken County Sheriff's Department to see that we have those checks and balances and get the department accredited so that we have outside agencies that are able to look in and check our balances, basically. Do the checks and balances that are needed so we're not just relying on ourselves, and we're making sure that we stay the most current, that we're using the most current procedures, most current policies, and just staying aware of what's going on in the area. Sorry, 30 seconds already. I'm just going to go ahead and end it there. I would appreciate your vote. My wife and I both would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out this evening. Thank you, NAACP, for hosting this. I'm David Knight. I'm the current jailer here in McCracken County. I started my career in public service in 1992. I'm sorry, it's been that long ago. Joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. I spent 6 years in the Marines as an air traffic controller. I got out and I tried to work my way through the civilian world, and I just didn't fit in. I belonged back in a uniform, and so I joined on with the Sheriff's Department. I spent over 10 years there where I worked anything from a road deputy to snipers with a SWAT team. I transitioned from there over to the jail, again, sticking with my uniform thing, and started at the bottom again and worked my way up through the ranks. I know the jail top and bottom. I handed out bologna sandwiches with the rest of them and toilet paper and worked my way up into the ranks. I learned everything I could about the jail along the way. I studied the budgets. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to some law stuff, but I sit around at night and read law books, and I've learned everything that I need to know about the jail. I promised I would be physically responsible with your money when I ran last time. To date, we're about $1.5 million under our projected budget during this time frame, that 3.5 years. I do that by studying contracts, renegotiating contracts, and making sure we get the best for what we spend our money on. I promise to have better training for our deputies. We're required to give them 24 hours in the first 12 months. They have 80 hours before they ever hit the floor. They get 40 hours of classroom and hands-on, and then an additional 40 hours working with someone who is experienced. So they're better trained than they've ever been. I promised I would work to get them raises. I've worked very close with the fiscal court and got them those raises. The fiscal court has worked great with me. I've gone to them and told them exactly what we needed, and we figured it out as a team. And but the last thing that is huge to me, and I always save this for last, is I wanted to put out a better inmate than I received. I really think we could change the community from the jail. It seems like a small thing, but I started programs. I had a vision for just a welding program. It has grown into 4 different programs. We have welding, HVAC, electrical, and deckhand schools. We have 3 jails that are coming together Monday to start a deckhand school. The overall recidivism rate, according to HarvardPolitics.com, is 76.6%, that they're going to be back in 5 years. I don't have 5 years of track record to go off of my programs, but I can tell you only 18% of my people who's graduated this class have come back. It can only get better. What we were doing is not working. What we are doing now seems like a whole lot better option, and that's what I continue to do if reelected, is we will continue these programs and we will stick under your budget. So I ask for your vote May 17th. Again, my name's David Knight. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. My name is Dan Sims, and for the last 4 decades, my life has been in public service. It started as a director of emergency medical services and then went to the sheriff's department under Howard Walker Jr. and then to the coroner's office for 24 years. After I retired there, I actually found out that my name was Dan because everywhere I went, they called me the Doctor of Death. So I'm glad to know that my real name is Dan. I'm also the sitting chairman for the Hendron Fire Board. I'm very well versed in budgets. The jail, what I want to do is bring more positive to the jail for the employees, for the inmates. More programs. They've got a lot of really good programs now. There's always room to add to those, and hopefully maybe even some for the women inmates as well. There's even been talk of maybe some type of canine program to help out our shelters and maybe the expenses that are there. The budget is very, very concerning, as you've heard the commissioner say. It's absolutely no fault of David's. It's just the beast that it is. There's been some studies done over the last 10 years. The jail expenses have been a little over $63 million. And there's been about a little over $28 million in losses. There is a jail in Kentucky that is self-supporting, Laurel County. I would love to sit down and speak with them to see how they are making that work. Doesn't mean that it'll work for every jail, but at least we could talk to them and see how they're making that work. The employees deserve what they've gotten. The fiscal court is trying to do what they can with that. They deserve more, just like our sheriff's units do. I want to continue to work with them for that reason. The main thing is to try and figure out what we need to do to lessen the burden on the taxpayers here. I know that there are jail fees that can be collected. Seeing if Laurel County has any advice as far as that. My 30 seconds are about up, so I just ask for your vote on May the 17th, and thank you for having me.
All right. So we're moving right along. Dr. Reese told me he's got dinner waiting on him, so we're going to get through this. No. All right. So our next candidates will be for district judge, and they will present in this order: Craig Newbern, James Mills, and Amanda Branham.
Mandy, you got your wish. You didn't go first this time. Good evening, everybody. My name is Craig Newbern, and I'm a candidate for district judge. And when I ran for this position 8 years ago, I ran on a platform of commitment, integrity, and compassion. And that has not changed in this election. I am committed to being the judge that McCracken County needs. McCracken County deserves a judge that has a heart for public service, and I believe that my experience as a former public defender, as a former assistant attorney general and as a current assistant county attorney. I believe that has prepared me I believe that it has demonstrated that I do have a heart for service. And that's important when you're talking about judges. Judges have to be present. They have to be there to sign warrants. They have to be there to carry out the duties of the district court office. And that's what I'm committed to doing. Integrity is also important. You have to, as a judge, have the courage, the strength to make the right decision, regardless of what's convenient, regardless of what's easy. You have to have that strength, and I believe that my time has given me that ability. I have practiced law from various parts of the state for the better part of the last 20 years. And again, I believe that has prepared me for making those tough decisions. I'm not afraid to make a tough decision. I've practiced death penalty cases, and I tell you right now, you don't get much more pressure than that. So I'm ready to make those tough decisions. The last thing is compassion. I think compassion is important for a judge to have. 70% of people that come into the district court courtrooms, they're not there for criminal cases. Most of what happens there, people are coming in for guardianship cases. They're trying to take care of their loved ones. They're coming in for probate cases. So a lot of them don't really know what's going on. It's a confusing time for them. It's a tough time for them. And the last thing they need is a judge that is treating them like a jerk, basically. That's the last thing they need. So I promise to be compassionate and respectful to everyone that comes into the courtroom. The last thing I want to tell you all is that we are on the cusp of history with this election. This is a history-making election. If you all will go out on May 17th and vote for me as your next district judge, you will make history because you will be electing the first African-American judge in the history of this county. That's important because other places, I think, kind of thumb their nose at Western Kentucky, but we are just as progressive, we are just as good as all these other places in Kentucky. So if you will go out and make history on May 17th, my guarantee to you is that I will make a difference for McCracken County. Thank you.
Jaylen Ragsdale. Now that name doesn't mean anything to a lot of you. It might mean a whole lot to some of you. And to me, it means everything. Because Jaylen Ragsdale was a homicide victim several years ago, and I was put on that case as the lead prosecutor. And Jaylen's family was rightfully worried about how that case was going to be handled. Jaylen came from a prominent African-American family in this community, and they wanted to meet with me, and I understand why. Because there is a history of men who look like me, who wear suits, who let them down. They don't hold up their end of the bargain, and they don't seek justice. So I don't blame them for being nervous. And through that prosecution, which I took to jury trial, and I got a conviction, I hope that I exceeded their expectations. In fact, I know I did. And if I'm elected your district court judge, I'll exceed your expectations too. So why am I running for district court judge? We need it. We need some difference. We are on the cusp of history in that in McCracken County there's going to be a lot of turnover on this election. And it's an opportunity for a fresh start and for some new vision and people who work in the system who actually care about people, and I can be that judge. So why should you vote for me? I'm the first assistant Commonwealth's attorney. That means that I'm the second most important law enforcement officer in the Commonwealth's attorney's office. If there's a serious case, chances are I prosecute it. And I've been tough. Since I've been assistant Commonwealth's attorney, even in COVID, I've gotten over 100 years, well over 100 years of prison time for child molesters at jury trial. I help out with the deferred prosecution program, administer it, which keeps first-time drug offenders, gets their record cleaned up, and I also help out on the drug court. District court, which I've also practiced in extensively, both as a public defender and as an assistant county attorney, is where everyday people tend to interact with the court system. You need a judge who thinks about how the court system affects regular people's lives, because it does. It is not just about the prestige of wearing a robe. It's about caring about people, black or white, particularly the victims and their families. I have a track record of that, a track record of listening, a track record of caring, and a track record of trying to help people. Thank you. Vote for me, James Mills.
Hello, I'm Amanda Branham, and I'm running for District Court Judge as well. Just as a brief introduction, I'm from this county. I grew up here. I graduated from Heath High School in 1995, and except for the time that I spent in law school or college, I have lived on the same farm my entire life. Why am I running for judge? You've heard the other two candidates say there needs to be a change, and they're right. Chris Hollowell is a sitting judge. He's not here today. He's not here today for you. He's not here today for you to ask him questions. And he won't be here for you tomorrow. I decided to run for judge back in December because there needed to be a change. My family is from McCracken County. I'm raising my kids here in McCracken County. I've had, as a prosecutor, far too many officers complain about his availability. So I decided to run. And when I decided to run, I didn't need to poll the audience, call up a bunch of judges, call up a bunch of attorneys, and ask them what they thought. To be a judge, you need courage. And I saw the problem, and I didn't poll the audience, I jumped in. I didn't wait and sit back and decide after the playing field had been laid out. There was a problem, and I jumped in. You should vote for me because I'm qualified. I've had 19 years of successful trial experience. I have been a prosecutor for the last 7 years. I've been a public defender for over 11 prior to that. A judge needs to be independent. They don't need to be somebody who calls up other lawyers, invites other lawyers, and asks them for money. They need to be independent in their campaign. I've not asked another member of the bar for a dime for my campaign. When you vote for me, I'm independent. I've been independent as a public defender. I practiced in 2 counties by myself. If you have a case in front of me, you'll get a fair shake. I don't owe any member of the bar anything. And now there's 30 seconds. District court is not a place to be insulted by the judge. It's not a place to be run down by the judge. It is a place for compassion. It's a place for justice. It's a place any of our families could end up. You heard one of the other candidates say that most of the cases there aren't criminal. When your mom dies, your probate case will come there. You get evicted, you'll be in district court. You don't need to be insulted or run down by the judge who you're in front of. And vote for me on May 17th.
Okay, we're in the home stretch. So the next candidates that we will hear from are constables. Let me make sure I've got the right constables here. For constables for the 2nd district, we're going to hear from Eric Augustus and Mike Steele. After them, we'll hear from Circuit Judge candidate Joe Rourke. And then following that, we will hear from U.S. Senate candidate Tammy Stainfield. Oh, I am so sorry, Mr. Chuck. Yes, you will be on circuit, Judge, as well with Mr. Joe Rourke. I apologize.
Let's see if I can get through this in 3 minutes. I want to thank the NAACP for having us here, for me to be able to talk to you for what a constable does in McCracken County. I'm a lifelong resident of McCracken County. My uncle is a former sheriff of McCracken County, and that's what got me into law enforcement. I served 9.5 years in the military, served one tour in Iraq during the invasion of Iraq. I left the military and went to work for McCracken County Jail. I have a 1.5 years experience in corrections, and from there I transitioned into law enforcement. I've spent 3 years as a road deputy with the McCracken County Sheriff's Department. Then I spent, I have 18 years, I'm in my 18th year, experience in law enforcement, 3 years as a road deputy, and then I transitioned, I went to be a volunteer deputy for about 10 years, and then I decided to run for constable to make a difference here in McCracken County for the constables. I have an associate's degree in criminal justice from WKCTC. I have a core certificate in criminal justice, also from WKCTC. I'm a graduate of the Department of Criminal Justice Training, where I was the class leader in my recruit class from 2005. Get through this. I served in the Sheriff's Department as a what we call a DARE officer, is a drug abuse resistance education instructor, where I taught 5th graders and 8th graders how to avoid drugs. I'm also a crisis intervention officer. As a constable, I've earned my immediate law enforcement officer certification. I'm vehicle radar certified, taser certified, and pursuit intervention technique certified. I am one of only 2 constables in the state that is a certified trained constable. And what that means is I do exactly the same as your full-time sheriffs and deputies and city police officers. I continue my training with 40 hours of in-service every year with the Department of Criminal Justice Training. I continue that training also with the Kentucky Constables Association, where I am currently the executive director for the Kentucky Constable Association. I've also served as the Internal Affairs investigator with the Kentucky Constables Association. I'm a member of the National Associations of Constables and Marshals, Fraternal Order of Police, the NAACP, a life member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and I'm also the current Sergeant at Arms for United Steelworkers Local 550. I'm a Kentucky Colonel, a Duke of Paducah. I am the only candidate on the ballot come January 1st that will be able to execute the duties afforded to the position. And what that means is recently House Bill 239 was recently passed in the House and has become law. And if anybody wants to ask me about that, I'll tell you. What that establishes that in January 1st, newly elected constables will not have peace officer powers. Thank you. Sorry. I humbly ask for your vote May the 17th. I'm second on the ballot. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. I'm Mike Steele, also running for the Constable, 2nd District. Mine started out they want to know why I want to do this. Mine started out when I was about 10, 11, 12 years old. My grandfather had been constable for years. And at that time, things were different. So I got to go with him a lot. I got to travel with him. I was always at the courthouse or at Jack Finch, who was magistrate's office. And it just put something in me about serving. It also put something in me that I wanted to carry on my grandfather's legacy. Well, when you get out of school, things change, life changes, you get into different things, you get married, you have children. About 4 years ago, it came back to me, my purpose, to be a constable, to run. I went back and I finished and took my criminal justice, graduated. I graduated police science. Started doing everything I could to prepare myself. I went to the Citizens McCracken County Sheriff's Academy. I went to the Citizens Police Academy. I went to the Citizens of Paducah Academy. I then joined the VIPS program at the Paducah Police Department. I've been in that for 2.5 years.
Used to call it auxiliary police. It's volunteers in police service now. I'm also a former member of the Paducah Civil Defense. But I really and truly honestly believe I can do this job. I have studied for it. I've practiced for it. Anything I do, I put 200% in. I will put 200% in this, work full-time plus. And I just want to ask for your vote. I honestly feel that between what I've done and all the years of being in business, a businessman in the city of Paducah, that I am capable of handling this and that it is my time. And I appreciate your vote so much. Again, my name is Mike Steele, and I just want to thank you all for having us.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Rourke. I'm a candidate for the McCracken Circuit Judge position. Like so many of you, I have heard this beep go off, and I feel like tomorrow morning when my alarm goes off, I'm going to shoot straight up in bed and say, my name's Joe Rourke, and I'm running for McCracken Circuit Judge. So with that joke out of the way, giving me a chance to say my name and my desired office in extra time, I will say that I am seeking this position because I have a desire to serve. This is my home. I was not born in Paducah, but you can blame my parents for that. They did not ask me where I wanted to live. But as soon as I became an adult and had the chance to live wherever I could, I chose to live in Paducah, Kentucky. And having lived here for 22 years now, I cannot imagine another place on this earth that I would ever want to live. This is where my wife and I raise our son. And it is my hope that someday he will come back here after going to college or pursuing whatever career he has and want to live here too. And the role of the circuit court judge affords the person who holds that office the opportunity to make sure that we have a stable, safe, and prosperous community through providing for public safety, through providing for the orderly resolution of civil disputes and lawsuits. And it is my desire to enter into that office with a purpose of service only. If you seek the office for your own aggrandizement or for some reason other than to serve others, you are doing it for the wrong reason, and you should be very wary of someone who seeks that office if they do so, or any judicial position, or really any position of authority, if they do so out of a desire to enhance their own status or anything like that. And I can assure you that I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this because I want our community to be a better, safer, more prosperous place. And so that's why I'm running. And the question is, well, that's nice, but why should we vote for you? I bring to this candidacy a great deal of experience. First, legal experience, of course. I've been practicing for almost 15 years. I have been in court, not quite on a daily basis, but it is very often every week, 5 days a week, multiple hearings, interviewing, cross-examining multiple witnesses, handling everything all by myself. I am no stranger to the courtroom. I do not have any misconceptions or any confusion about the rules of evidence, the proper procedures for any court in any type of case that would ever appear in circuit court. So I am there and able to handle those things without any difficulty. From my personal perspective, before I entered into my career as the law, I was a teacher at a private Christian school for 4 years where I taught high school history and religion. Before that, I worked in nonprofit service as a district executive for the Boy Scouts of America. And so my life and my desire to serve others predates even this run that I'm making right now. And so if you want proof that I care about others and I wish to serve my community, you have it in my whole career. And again, my name is Joe Rourke. I'm a candidate for McCracken Circuit Court Judge, and I would really appreciate you voting for me, not in May, because I'm not on the ballot, but in November, because there's no primary for us. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Dr. Reese, President Cleary, I'm so pleased to be here, and I'm also pleased to know that I'm on the list of candidates. Thank you very much. We're here, and we're going to talk, and we're going to make some progress with that. My name's Chuck Walter, and I am running for Circuit Judge. Why do I want to be a circuit judge? Work. I like to work, and I like to work hard, and this is an awesome, awe-inspiring job. Again, like my friend Joe Rourke said, not for aggrandizement, but for public service. The patience, the listening ability, the discernment that you need to be a judge is incredible. And I've gained that over the years. Liking to work, my wife will tell you, I'm one of 3 places during the day. I'm at the office, or I'm at home at 21st and Kentucky Avenue, or I'm across the street at church at 21st and Kentucky Avenue. I like the fact that I'm available for the citizens of Paducah McCracken County. Now, why should you vote for me? I've been training for this job for 36 years. Trial practice. I know the ins and outs of the courtroom. If you're in circuit court, you've got some challenges, you've got some difficulties, you've got some issues, you may have some problems, and you need someone there to make the right decisions and to shepherd the process so that justice can happen. I've been there. If you've been injured in an accident, sorry, Mark, I don't mean to steal your line there, but if you've been hurt and you got a lawsuit or you're being sued, I've done that type of trial work. If you've got a property dispute, you've got a dispute over adverse possession, someone's claiming your property, I've done that kind of law. If you're being sued for professional negligence, whether you're a doctor or an attorney or an accountant or a real estate broker, I've done that kind of work. If you're a victim of that kind of practice, I'll be there to make sure everyone gets a fair shake. And in criminal court, I've been doing felony practice for the last 3 years. If your son or daughter is accused of a crime, they'll get due process. If they're a victim of a crime, I'll make sure that the system works, that justice is done. Chuck Walter, running for Circuit Judge. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tammy Stainfield, and I'm running for U.S. Senate. I'm going to focus today that the most important vote that's coming up is in the Republican primary. And the reason why I'm running for office is I've never seen such incompetent representation in the United States government in my lifetime. I think it has hit rock bottom. And I'm running with the experience that I have a computer science degree, and I also have a master's in development with a focus in politics. I want to represent the state of Kentucky with logical and sane and complex arguments to get better outcomes that are happening right now in Washington. Since it is the primary and I'm a Republican, what I need to do is to inform you of the candidate that most of you know. There is 5 candidates running for the Republican primary for U.S. Senate. However, the most important one that most of you know is Rand Paul. The reason that I find him incompetent is he has voted for 5-month abortion as a Republican. He also has advocated twice, he's endorsed and promoted to bring in and expedite foreigners into America with work visas and also expedite citizenship. The overwhelming majority are individuals from India. Many of you may know that a lot of these individuals have technical skills. I'm someone who knows Americans are highly skilled and should have those jobs. This is a university of engineering and technology. I'm not sure why we're taking our jobs from these students from Speed and University of Louisville, but it's important to know why Mr. Rand Paul is advocating to bring in foreigners to take highly skilled jobs. He also is one of the most shocking things, and I would like you to go to my website to see this so you can judge yourself. But I am turning 60 years old this year, and so is Mr. Rand Paul next year. He has argued that the USA Constitution today allows businesses, the owners, to be racist. He argues that he states clearly that Martin Luther King today should still be denied the right to eat at Woolworth's Diner. This is a 2-minute video. You can play it yourself. This is not the type of representation we need from the state of Kentucky. I'm an individual who believes in Lincoln's party, and Lincoln's party is the Republican Party. So I ask you to study. This is a 6-year position. This is not 1 year, not 2 years, not 4 years. It's 6 years. And what has happened over the last 12 years is nothing. And the outcomes have been very, very negative. And I would like a chance. I'm not a great speaker, but I am someone who analyzes data and tries to put forward informative arguments so that good outcomes happen for the United States. So thank you.
Okay, so we are in the last few candidates that we have. Let's give a big round of applause for the candidates that have already presented at this point. All right, so we got about maybe 5 more minutes left here of candidates to present. Mr. Gerhardt, I'm going to ask that you change the timer. We're going to change the rules up on this one. So actually, our next candidates are uncontested in their election, so they are going to automatically coast through unless somebody jumps in on that. But we do have some candidates here tonight. We have Kate Foster, who's running for county attorney, and we have Ms. Jamie Huskey, who is running for county clerk. If you two would like to speak, you'll be given 90 seconds to give your stump speech on that. So half of 3.
Seconds. 90 seconds, yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Ordinarily, someone towards the end of an event will say something like, well, they saved the best for last. But among this group of distinguished speakers, I think I'm classified as the least of these. It's for that reason, and for the fact that we're speaking before the NAACP, an organization with a rich history and important ongoing mission, that I'm truly honored to be here tonight, and I thank you. I'm running for county attorney. As you know, the county attorney prosecutes misdemeanor offenses in McCracken County and advises the county government. I'd like to tell you 4 quick points about what I hope to accomplish if I'm elected. First, meaningful sentences that will uphold the rule of law. These will send the message that crime doesn't pay, and it will help people turn their lives around if they've committed a criminal offense. And I pledge to you that our office will enforce the law equally, without regard to what is listed next to the race category, without regard to what is listed on the home address. Second, we're going to assist those suffering from drug addiction and mental illness. We'll work with rehab facilities, law enforcement officers, and judges to determine who needs our help and get the resources in their hand to help them turn their lives around. Third, the county attorney has a role to play in economic development. That's by faithfully advising the fiscal court and giving them reliable counsel. I pledge to do that. I've got children here in McCracken County that I want to see come back home and have a good job opportunity waiting for them when they do so. Lastly, I'm going to be an accessible public servant, someone whose doors are open. If you have a case you want to review, an initiative you'd like to discuss, please come see me. Thank you for this opportunity, and I humbly ask for your support. Thank you.
I would like to thank the NAACP for hosting this tonight and inviting us to speak. My name is Jamie Huskey. I've been employed at McCracken County Clerk's Office for 28 years. I love my job. I love people. I'm lucky I don't have opposition. Although I'm not new to the campaigning world, I've campaigned for many people, knocked on many doors. I truly believe in county politics. My door will always be open if anybody has any questions. So. I'm quick, I'm short.
All right. Again, let's give all the candidates a big round of applause, please. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out here tonight. It is very important that we engage people in political discourse and political engagement. So again, I hope that all of you are registered to vote and that you will vote in the primary. Again, you must be registered as a Republican or a Democrat to vote in the May 17th primary. Election day in the fall will be in November. And so if you will be 18 before then, I strongly encourage you to register to vote. You can vote very easily by going to www.govoteky.com. And since the playoffs are tonight, I want to make sure that everybody goes home and gets a good night sleep and gets some good meal and get some good food. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and I wish you all the best and safe travels. Mr.